Hello everyone, in this video we'll be discussing about strings in C++. Before that, let's talk a little bit about characters. In C programming, a character variable holds an ASCII value rather than the character itself. So this is an integer value which is the ASCII code for the given character. Now why do we use ASCII? It is because it gives us a method for all the computers to use the same language when representing characters. This will allow them to share documents and files and work on them. What are strings? Strings are a sequence of characters. In C++, strings are represented as an object of a class called string. String class stores the characters as a sequence of bytes. Before talking about C++ strings, let's talk about C strings. So C strings are implemented as a character array, which is to be terminated by a null character. Also to remember, the ASCII code for that null character is 0. All C strings are character arrays, but not all character arrays are C strings, meaning if and only if a character array has the null character in it, it will be called a C string. Functions for processing these strings are strlen, strcpy, strcat, etc. provided by the string.h library, and these functions require the strings to end with a null character in order to able to perform their respective operations upon those strings. Now, what are the disadvantages of these strings due to which we have new implementations of strings in C++ in the term in now what are some disadvantages of C strings and why do we move on to C++ strings or the string class? C strings cannot track their own size. And for a C string, the null character becomes very important because most of the functions required to work on the C strings require the use of null character. We cannot directly compare strings or concatenate them. We'll have to use external functions such as strcmp, strcat, etc. And also C strings are fixed in size. So if we want to increase the size of the string or decrease it, we'll have to do it manually using dynamic memory allocation. So strings in C++ or the string class. String is a container similar to vectors with specialized functions for operations on that container. String manages the underlying storage. The double equal to or the comparison operator is overloaded for direct comparison of strings. Similar strings can be lexicographically compared using the logical comparison operators as well, such as greater than or less than. Strings in C++ support concatenation using the addition operator. It has inbuilt methods like compare, append, etc. And it also has other interfaces such as size, empty, clear, insert, resize, erase, substring, find, at, etc. So now let's see all of these things in code. Yes. So in this code, what I've done first is we'll go through the C strings first, then we'll move on to the C++ specifics. Right. So remember that these strings are nothing but character arrays. Here I'm assigning it to a literal called hello1 and hello4, two different arrays. You can also assign it like this, but that's not allowed in C++ anymore. Now, what we observe is in order to find the length or perform any operation, we depend on external functions, the strlen, strcmp provided by the string.h class, which is not very intuitive. These are not associated to ARR. Rather, we have a function defined to work on strings in general, which you may forget the syntax of, etc. So that causes one issue. Now, Now remember that a C string always ends with a null character, and how we can observe that is here I take in a string, I iterate through the string ARR for each character ch, and I'm printing the ASCII value of that ch. And if at all I encounter one null character, I break. Yes, so we see that strlen of ARR is 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you have to remember that the entire string, if at all you've done it like this, will actually consist of 7 letters, wherein the last letter would be the null character itself. And strcmp, what it does is it'll lexicographically compare each and every character of both the strings, and wherever they are mismatching at the first time, it'll give the difference between their ASCII characters, which is -3 in our case, because it'll be 1 minus the ASCII character of 1 minus ASCII character of 4, which will still be equal to -3. Then I print ARR3. Then I iterate through each character of the string ARR, of the C string ARR, and I print their corresponding ASCII values. So 72, 101, 108, 108, 111. The 1 itself is 49, and it comes with a 0. So we know that the null string has an ASCII character of 0. Now let's move on to C++ strings and see how they work. Right. So strings in C++ are actually objects of a class called string. Hence, we use the keyword string here, followed by the object name or the string name which we want. As we've already discussed in videos before, if we simply use C in S to input a string, this will stop taking the input till after the first whitespace character is encountered. So in order to take input of strings inclusive of whitespace characters, we use the getLine function, which takes in the cin operator, the string we want to store it into, and the delimiter to which we want till which we want the string to be recorded. So it can be dollar, it can be add, it can be a. So all the input till a will get stored in S. A is exclusive, and or we can simply leave it like that, and it'll go on taking the input till the first new line character is in. Now, uh, what C++ strings provide us is functions associated to the string itself. So s.length will directly give me the length. I need not import another library in order to use these functions. So s.length will give me the length. What I can do is I can push back. So what pushback does is basically it appends a character to the end of my string s in this case. So if my we'll see this in example. So if I have string s equal to hello, then what will happen is the exclamation mark will be appended to the string, and it'll result to hello exclamation mark, right? So after which we see that we will observe how the length changes. And remember that C strings were fixed in size, but here we are able to append a character to it. We can also remove the character which we appended using pop back or erase, etc. So there, see, the string class itself will take care of managing the memory, managing the size, and it will automatically resize, and we'll see that the length also changes. Similarly, we have a substring function wherein we can extract a certain part of the string. In this case, it will be from the first index 3 characters. Similarly, we can use strings to assign them to other strings. So here my s2 string gets assigned from the value of s, again from the second index 2 characters. I'll be able to print it here. And the various and some of the other functions which strings do provide us will be find, which is used to locate if a character is present or not in the string. If the character is not present, then the resultant position will be equivalent to this. Otherwise, we will be directly able we will be given the index position of that particular character, and if we want to access that character, we can use either uh, s of position, or we can also use s dot at of pos. So that is also another function given to us. So in this way we can find characters, we can access characters given at a place, we can take substrings, we can take a length, we can push back or append strings. Now let's go to the more some other functions like compare, wherein although we can always do if s greater than s2 or something like that, we can also get a more numeric comparison between s and s2 using dot compare, wherein similar to strcmp, both the strings will be compared lexicographically, and wherever they differ, the difference of ASCII values will be given to us. The plus operator is overloaded. So what s plus s2 will give us is the concatenation of both the strings, where s is followed by s2. if we want s itself to be if you want s itself to be modified, what we can do is we can use the append function, wherein the value of s2, the entire string of s2 will get added to the end of character string s, and then we print it as well. So now let's take a look at this in action. So this is my string. Right. So what s was, so here in getLine, I take the input and store it to s. I print my s. So s is, this is my string. I print its length, which is 18. What I then do is I push or append another character to it. So we see that there is an additional exclamation mark at the end of the string. We also see that the length has increased, and we didn't actually play any role in increasing the length. It was all done automatically. Here I extracted a substring from the string itself. So from the first from the first index, 3 characters, s2, here I'm assigning or rather filling s2 using using some part of s or some substring of s, which is in this case. Here in I see that in s I have not actually used any a character. So if I try and find an a character, it will give me a position which is equal to string and pos. Therefore I'm able to decide that, okay, that character is not found in my string. I can compare s and s2. Then I can add s and s2 together or concatenate them using the addition operator. I can append it. So again, the difference between these two lines is s plus s2 does not individually modify each of the strings or either of the strings. But if I do s dot append s2, s gets modified in place. Hence, when I'm printing s the next time, I'm able to see that the string itself is modified. So also we can also have another function just to see some more of these inbuilt functionalities that strings provide us, or rather C++ strings provide us in action. So what I did here to show how we can use the string functions in order to manipulate strings is that what I want to do is I want to replace the blank character with my own given character ch. So I send in a string while n. So I try to find a blank character starting from n. So if my n is 0 initially, so from till the position 0, it'll try to find a string. In this case, I'll let it be. So I try to find a string from the position 0. Wherever the first position is found, that is assigned to n. And next time what I'll do is I'll start looking from there again for the next one. And till I'm not able to find any such strings, each such position of n will be replaced by character ch. So this is just one of the many examples you can use. This is one of the many examples that shows how we can use those inbuilt functions in order to manipulate strings to our convenience. So this was all about C strings and strings in C++.